Welcome to Spirit Baby Radio. I am your host, Kelly Meehan, a citizen of the universe and a passage keeper and mentor for our new Earth children. I believe we are entering into a new psychic structure of our reality, and it is meant to embody deeper trust and ways into solid self-love and fearless integrity. Our new world energy of spirit babies needs us to consciously create within conception, trust pregnancy, and have freedom to birth and parent from innate wisdom. This is Spirit Baby Radio. Welcome to episode 183, January 12th, 2024. Evolution of Spirit Baby Communication, Becoming the Highest Vibration of Motherhood. What will 2024 bring to your life? How are you available to fearlessly show up? What does your new Earth child need and desire from you? How can your deep, mature Spirit Baby communication develop? Happy New Year! Can we say that? I feel like people aren't celebrating Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. I feel like, as we all know, the world is in such huge amounts of shifting and people are kind of sinking in, right? Reprioritizing where our intentional energies go, where our heart spaces, where our creativities, how our life is developing with great abundance, wealth, and health and goodness, right? And that's what I hold for all of humanity. And I'm here to be of support on so many levels, of course. The New Earth children, conception, pregnancy, birth loss, as well as light therapies for health and wellness, to have a life that feels aligned, that feels good, to look at your windows, to be in nature, to laugh, to play, to more than anything, be a creative force that you are. No matter what you're doing, always reminding yourself of the spark, your own internalness, the spark of who you are is so valuable and so misunderstood and so lost and forgotten at times. And I want to bring a different energy, or even I can say a frequency to this space. I know that we all carry a different frequency, and it's a word maybe we've been hearing for many years now. And I feel like, we've said energy medicine. Now a lot of it is going into frequency medicine, and maybe there's not much of a difference, but I actually really love the word frequency because I feel like it's a part of who we are. And I was just teaching about that. It's just literally it's just us. We are a sound, a note, a tune, and we put out a signal. We're not just like people, I'm gonna say people enslaved and going through the motions of life. But there is there is that kind of held back, enslavement. Maybe that's a whole other conversation to have. But I feel like if we want to be sovereign souls, we have to act like that. We have to step up into that role. And to re-remember is something I like to talk a lot about, is re-remembering who we are. And so every year we move into, and I know year is just an illusion. Timelines are not what we thought they were. Timelines are changing all the time, even the past timelines, which I know some people may not fully grasp that kind of idea or concept, because the mind, in that more analytical, controlled, perfection mind, there's no space for energy there. There really isn't. There's a limitation. And I believe, and I want to take you into this space of possibility and limitlessness and infiniteness, because in that space of energy and infiniteness, we get to build and create literally infinitely. And so we all have our baggage. We have our traumas, our past, our future, but more than anything, how, asking yourself maybe an intentional energy without a list of goals to have to battle and get through. Maybe those goals help you, maybe they motivate you. But I feel like if we were to create a big intentional energy, is presence. How can you continue to be present now in this time, in this moment, and allowing life and its own creative force to come to you in moments? You don't go ahead and create the creative force. You stay here now and you cultivate the creative energy. And energy in that space doesn't live in the thought process as much as we think it does, right? We think, the thoughts do everything. That's what it feels like. But there's so much more happening. And I almost feel at times it's hard to articulate the language for something that is sentient, that is feeling sense, that just is. It just is. Like, we don't always have to prove everything, especially with science. I'm not sure why we've come into this awareness with everything has to be proven. Everything has to be proven. Well, the energy of the person changes the studies of science. Our frequency creates a different experience through even study. And this is why not everything works for everybody. I really kind of sit and like sink in with that because there is no one size fits all approach to humanity, wearing your skin suit with your own spark and frequency of energy and light. It speaks its own form of communication. And that's where we heal. That's where we get to be in our deepest space of love. And that feels valuable as parents. I feel like parents are well, I call them the guardians, the light guardians to your child. And even when I say your child, it feels like an ownership. Like we own our children, and there's such a deep energy around receiving connection with a child or children into your life, into your womb, into the cellular genetic makeup of your body. It's such a, really miraculous experience and something to sit in contemplation with. Maybe you're somebody that really struggles on your fertility journey and you have you question everything, which is good. And I like to say is you open up with curiosity, so then you can begin to evolve and heal the parts that just don't need you anymore. You don't need all those other parts anymore, but yet we hold the past so strongly. It's like deep. It's really deep and it's very subconscious. It's not an active conscious activity, and there's something else happening. And that's where we get frustrated and upset and victimized. I find it very challenging when we're in victimization or you have a friend or a colleague or a client that gets caught in victimization. It is a powerful energy I've seen with people. And the stubbornness of that victimization is immovable at times. And I do feel like if we go into those spaces, and we all have, is that we have to be there. We have to be in that space to then work through whatever wants to shift and work through. And we can live there forever. I don't think people want to. People that live in victimization forever are in perpetual poverty, are chronically physically sick, mentally, emotionally sick, chronic, even addiction without a sense of centeredness in it. And so that victimization, or even a lack of fertility, I can even say, being in that victimization, not knowing how to move out of it is not about self-blame, like you're a bad person, but it's about even a self-responsibility that because I feel like even as I said all those things, it's the wound, the deep, gushing, bloody, infected wound that just cannot heal. I'm gonna give you be very graphic. It's like it's not healing, or it's just not enough of a healing. And this is why I feel like we come together collectively to be of service to each other, that we have to like put our hands out, open our hearts, and open our arms to hug, even kind of like a hug metaphor, but like taking action, speaking up, doing things, and being the advocate for others as well as ourselves to share ways to come back to an intuitive, peaceful, inner light self. No matter what your story is, maybe there's abuse, neglect, there's, war, major levels of trauma, sexually, physically, emotionally. We can be the alchemist to rise above and come out of our pain and suffering, right? I feel like 2024, listen up. We can be alchemists to come out of our pain and suffering. I don't really feel like we came to this world to suffer. But guess what? There's a lot of suffering. And what happens is what I'm seeing, even as my own human being, is that the suffering can really stay. And then the lens of life is lived through suffering. And some people are very conscious and unconscious to that. Some people just don't know how to move forward out of that energy. They're playing the old energy over and over and over. And yet again, and I'm going to say it, this is why I love nervous system work, embodiment. The nervous system, if you do not realize it, it is a lot to learn, is that your body is stored with cellular information from your history, from your lineage. And if that isn't being restructured, or you're not willing to go into those spaces to create that ease, and mostly the reason why you wouldn't want to go there is because you're in survival. You have no capacity to even know it's there. You're just living through the energy of trauma. And it's a very tricky place to unwind and be present to, but I know people can do it. I've done it. I've continued to do it. I've seen others do it. I bring other people into that space because when you free yourself from your own past, literally the infiniteness and the capacity of your own creative flow is so powerful and presently here. And so, in your intentional reflections for 2024, I want to say be golden. I don't know why I want to say that. Be the gold light that is you. Every day, breathe, welcome life, and listen. Can you actually sit with your body, even very slowly? You don't have to just throw yourself into it. To feel the breath that moves through you, to notice your body, your belly, to notice your even your neck, your shoulders, to notice your legs, your feet. It doesn't have to be something where it feels like it's hard or it's like an overcommitment or oh, the drudgery. That's your mental energy and your fear. And so this is why in December I started 6 months of embodiment. It's all somatic practices each month. And I teach a little bit of lecture of a PowerPoint presentation to give you more of a visual. And each month we're going into touching our own bodies and just being in the quiet spaces of listening. It's so freaking extraordinary. I'm telling you, I've been in somatic practice with myself probably for 18 years. And I still want to say I haven't mastered it all, right? I'm going to be honest. I'd say even in the past few years, I've come into the most safety and non-survival space I've ever been in my whole entire life. And that is a huge celebration. And the capacity that I have to keep going into that space is so much love. It's love for the inner infant of me into the adult. And I know that you can do this too. And really reflecting on, how are you showing up for yourself, not for other people? Yeah, you can show up for your partner, maybe your children, your relatives, but really showing up for yourself. Because community is important, but individuality is really powerful because remember, you are a frequency that pings off energy and you can't hide that energy, especially from me. I can see people's own frequency pinging off the energy around them too, even. And so we all have different stories, past stories, wounded stories, but those stories don't have to run us. But guess what? You may be like not even realizing it, or you may realize it. Like there's a story that's running, you just don't want it anymore. And it is multi-layered. Like some people find, well, I'm going to go drink celery juice for the next 5 years and feel better. No, I love celery juice, but that's not going to clear. It's you that's going to find and be that clarity. And yeah, there are toxicities, but the toxicities are not just physical toxicities. There's an emotional, energetic response. Everything in our world, we're seeing this more and more, right, through medical doctors, through holistic doctors, through people, through plumbers, through farmers, knowing and understanding that everything is emotional energy in our physical body. So when our body gets a rash or something happens, I'd say like 99%, 98% of people maybe will just run and say, I need to fix it physically. And then what if it doesn't go away and it doesn't get fixed? Because the physical manifestation has an energetic cord and root to it. And this is what I see in the work that I do with a lot of people. I can see the emotional, energetic roots and cords. And when we're clearing from that level, it's like nurturing, clearing from that, the root dissolves and that energy no longer needs to be there. And I proudly did that with a lot of the light therapy and nervous system work. I finally feel like I have freedom actually to show up in a more powerful way for myself, for my family, for my community, and I want to share that in a good infectious frequency of being set at a signal of energy that says that wellness is always here. So let's say you struggle with fertility. Where is your fertile field? Where is your fertile energy? What is the lineage that is not being restructured, rerouted? And you'll have to sit into those spaces of mindlessness, of embodiment. There's a lot of different connections to build, but more than anything, I do feel like getting support. I know that like when I'm going into my deep work or I'm having a lot of fear or energies coming up, I don't do it on my own. I get support and help through my somatic experiencing therapists and different healing experiences that feel nourishing to me. Acupuncture, chiropractic care, salt room, embodiment, massage, hiking even, being in nature, dropping into the quiet, being with friends, oxytocin love, right? Being with friends, feeling that high, that joy. And again, remember, we're multi-leveled, we're multi-dimensional. And as your intentional energies are coming forward, I want you to add the gold to the list. Apparently, I said gold, adding creativity. Where is your creative flow? Like creativity, is it through your hands? Is it through your eyes? Is it through your movement? Is it through words and writing? Is it through colors and palettes? Is it through getting into the dirt, rolling in the sand, playing in the water? Where is your creativity, and can you be in oneness with your own creative force? And I feel like many of women that come into the space going on a long journey, maybe it's been a year, 2 years, 4 years, 7 years, 10 years, can become pregnant. And many do. But it's the journey that's maybe kicking at you and making you feel like you're failing or you're ready to give up. Surrender of giving up are almost the same thing to me at times. I feel like really kind of sitting with that, surrender versus difference. Sometimes it feels like, or not difference, difficulty, like you're ready to let go. And maybe you feel negative or unsure about that, but maybe really it is a positive thing. I don't have any water. That's not good. Of course, I start coughing. What does your new earth child need and desire from you? What if I told you that your new earth child, your spirit baby, the soul of your child needed exactly what you need, what you feel you need? What does that even mean when I say that? Your intuition is already guiding you in this guidance connection with spirit baby. It is not separate. So you in your own psychic space have to listen. That's really the biggest part of it. Can you listen? Do you know how to listen? Are you listening enough? Or is it properly? And this is where, again, you have to jog that right, creative, expanded energy you over the left-minded, analytical, controlled part of you. And that's not going to be easy. It's going to be a balance of how you live forward with connecting with your new earth child. Are you going to do it through a sieve, through forced energy, through in a way that feels unavailable, unproductive because you're scared? That's really what it comes down to. You're fearful. If you can't get spirit baby communication, whether through feeling, sensation, physical, energetic, visually, through dream space, if you cannot get any of that, you are highly scared. You are terrified of anything of spirituality. And I want to send you a hug that you can still get into those spaces and you can do it. And it's okay if you feel like you can't do it and your baby does not think you're ignoring them. You're just in fear. So you need to overcome those fears and step into the fullness of your own psychic space, the allness of you. And how you do that begins with who are you hanging out with? Who is your crowd of energy? Are you hanging out with a lot of people that are scared too and fearful, have no awareness or understanding of their own psychic power and potentiality? You have to build the energy around you. And this is why being in fertile spaces, being around pregnancy, being around birthing of positivity, of freedom, will elevate and escalate the energy that you're rippling outward. But remember, it's not just the energy that you're taking around you, it's your own signal. So you're having to pull these energies together, right? Because there are triggers that are signaled out too. Think about times where you met people and you're like, what the heck? That was so triggering or it was weird because you have wounds that may be elevated and heal whether you realize it or not through situations and circumstances. And so another way you can, meditation, of course, connecting with your baby, really trusting it, even if it feels one-sided. Hello, my baby being. I'm here, I'm ready, I'm connected, but you're like, okay, where are you? Keep doing that, keep connecting with that. And another way is podcasts, Spirit Baby Radio, obviously, right here, right now. Listen to old episodes, connect with the energy. Everything that is spoken through 183 episodes is all energetically intertwined to send a certain signal to the people that tune into it. Listen to audiobooks or read books. Spirit Baby's Walter McKitchen book. Everybody loves that book. Elizabeth Carmen's book. Oh, I can't remember them now. She has got two books. It's also Elizabeth Hallett, a pre-birth communication researcher. Read these books. There's probably a few more other books I'm trying to think off the top of my head, looking at my bookshelf. What other ways you can, because really communication, remember, with your new earth child comes in different ways. Your psychic sense is number one, your felt sense, visual, auditory, whatever it is, your knowingness. And in that ability that you have, you're connecting with either music, dance, creativity, art, whatever it is that baby is in communication with you is authentically your own bonding experience. And many months ago in the summer, I did something called Spirit Baby Immersion. It was 30 days, and maybe I will run that again. It was 30 days to get you really kind of deeply psychically connected. 1 week was visual, second week was feeling sense. Third week was creative art. I actually have a piece of art that you get to create with baby in a meditative space. And the fourth week was about writing, channel writing, communication writing. So I'm meeting all these different ways, that visual space, that feeling sense space, that writing, a little bit of cerebral space, and of course the creative art flow energy space. And these are just barely just a few. There's so much more you can do, right? With music and dance. And so, but that immersion and how we immerse ourselves into it to really to change whatever the old program is, right? And it takes a certain amount of brain and releasing to then restructure a new outcome, a new experience. Our cells are constantly replenishing and dying and regenerating all the time. And so is all parts of us. And so immersing yourself into a practice can be very enlightening, could be very guiding on your journey to see what you need to create a restructure. And there there's so many different ways to come about it, and I want to encourage you. No more sitting around waiting. Let's get this going. Get your practices going, get your energy moving. Stop waiting, get insights with yourself, raise your frequency, get to that co-creative space together. And, you know, as share the words like your mature spirit baby development communication practice, I say mature because mature is like, how is it changing? How is it evolving? How you once connected, like maybe even months ago, is different. And that's good. And I know there's a lot of internal questions, curiosities that may come up along the way as you are on your conception journey or just being in pregnancy, being in that bonding spirit baby pre-birth communication space. And having that language and connection with your child is so powerful because it's going to help you in the birth, especially in the birth. We are in a reality in this time where society has certain connections and awareness as to how women birth. And the systems, people say they're improving, but I don't think it's improving enough. Unless you go outside of a system, right? The hospital, it would be the system. The fear is the hospital. And there's no judgment when I say that. Anytime we've birthed in a hospital, it is a low frequency, it is fear. And we are birthing our children that way and our next humans. And I had a home birth transfer hospital birth with my first, and I think I've shared that throughout the years. Not a very lovely experience, highly traumatic. And and how it all ended up in that direction was very there's an understanding of it in such a deep level. And and so center births, home births, free births, I feel like that is the future of birth, coming back to the women, the midwives, um the women that hold other women in the soul spaces together in the physical body, um, to bring life without over intervening in every single thing, in every aspect, even in health. Babies born, there's so much intervening in health. Babies born not well, babies sick. We have to do all these things to baby, inject and do all these exams and things. Like, what is this? Like, is it having a baby dangerous? It's like, what is this? There's so much more. I'm probably going to be speaking way more about that topic because it's something I felt for a very, very long time. But I feel like consciousness is shifting. So people are welcoming new ideas, new ways more now. Before the fear, the subconscious, like unavailability to it, right? I can't see it, hear it, or know it. It's not there. It doesn't exist. And so your maturing communication skills, as I shared in conception, and pregnancy and what birthing looks like and how you get to bring that space together in there and not to leave out the journey forward of you've had birth loss, whether it's miscarriage or stillbirth, infancy loss. It's tragic. It is heartache. It is transformation. And those that have had loss, I feel you. I send you so much love. And I want to tell you that your baby is in communication with you, and to keep your heart available to what the healing is and that lineage and that storyline, and be as present as you can. And when the grief comes and you need to have the spaces of grief to be with, then you be with it. And you have a community that holds you in it. And that's very valuable. And so your new earth child, whether coming into life, not coming maybe temporarily, or just not coming at all, fulfilled, whatever that spiritual contract is and the unknown spaces of lived life, even from moments in the womb to even outside into this earth atmosphere. And so you're evolving in your new earth child collaboration. And I want to share with you, as I am holding the biggest love intention for you for 2024, because you are evolving and starting like tomorrow, if you can join. You're welcome to join. I will leave the cart open, as they say, or the gate open, or the window open. Something's open. Is co-creation, a journey with Spirit Baby, 7 weeks. And women have come and gone into this program. Some are pregnant in the beginning. Some have Many multiple miscarriage losses come through this program and have become pregnant. Um, and it's really awesome as I've seen that in the past, I think 2 years this program's been open. And some of these women I've worked with more on top of that because I have a great payment plan. And I also have an option to get sessions with me and join the 7 weeks in a payment plan format, which is really helpful in healing. And so co-creation is just my master program. It's energetic, it's nature-based, it's quantum awareness, energetic reproduction, anatomy, it's self-healing, energy healing of your own. I call it like your own conception Reiki kind of style. And spirit baby communication. It literally encompasses so much. And I feel like the beauty of is as long as the program's around, you can keep coming back into it as long as you feel like you want to be or you're not pregnant. And so I feel like that keeps changing and shifting and pulling and recreating a different energy. And you can join that to help you evolve, move through wherever those stuck parts are, or to get community, be in the frequency of fertility and learn and expand into it. And in that, you get meditations and you get a private session and you get to join the Mighty Network, the Spirit Baby Collective, and get Spirit Baby Oracle messages, keeping you in that Spirit Baby positive space. And so now, coming to an end, and at the same time, a beginning. I send you off, as I said earlier, with so much love, with a rejuvenated connection to the world. Get your co-creative space anchored in, get your heart expanded, and remember, Spirit Baby is speaking with you, is talking with you, is sending you messages. And I send you so much love until we connect again. And I want to thank you for joining episode 183, January 12th, 2024. Evolution of Spirit Baby Communication, becoming the highest vibration of motherhood. Thank you for joining Spirit Baby Radio with your host, me, Kelly Meehan. Please join my community and stay in touch with monthly energy rants, Spirit Baby poetry, and get access to Spirit Baby 101 with tips and practices at my newsletter at newearthchildren.com. And join me on Instagram with lives at Spirit Baby Medium, and join the Mighty Networks, the Spirit Baby Collective membership, and Motherhood to Mediumship. Remember, you are the heart that holds communication, and it is your time to connect. Come share in the great shift of your mind and the true spirit of your heart with Spirit Baby Communication.